Sweat pouring down on the side of the riverbank. Drinking tall boys, catching small mouths, just one of those summer days. Heard something rustling through the trees. Turn around, Lord, what do I see? Blue eyes, blonde hair, Daisy Dukes, and a baby tea. Hot southern lass, I must confess, this girl was blessed. Hot southern lass, letting down her hair.
One, two, three, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1.
Clear hot.
Hey folks, welcome back to the U.S. National Championships 2024. Just starting the my moment, I do not have the sequences in front of me. I'm sort of going to just call live what I as Miller right now. Pit Spec B. I'll be working on attaining these sequences as we continue on today. Beautiful start to the day. Unlimited just flew. Absolutely no wind. Perfect flying conditions again as Justin goes vertical for a hammerhead turnaround, big left rudder, aircraft's pivoting around 180 degrees. Looks to be a 45 hammer and exit. Density altitude is not an issue today. Justin comes across the box. It's like top of a Humpty. Closes the Humpty into his next figure. He's here working very hard. We have a big field of Sportsman pilots this year. Very excited. Justin pulls the vertical. You see a little drift out of the north today. Light winds, but a slight drift. Pivots around another 180 degrees. Beautiful hammerhead turn, stall turn. Trading altitude for airspeed, coming back across the box, heading to the Sept. Justin's working this S111B. Very hard today. A lot of history on the S111B. Goes back to the 90s. Robert Armstrong debuted the airplane at the 1996 World Aerobatic Championships in Page, Oklahoma. Did an outstanding job. Robert, also an icon in the sport of aerobatics, as Justin's coming across the top of the box, upside down, hanging on those hooker harnesses. Justin sets the vertical line down, looking exactly where he is in the box, setting himself up for his next figure. Justin sets a nice radius looping portion of his figure, half roll. Looks like Justin's in a 180 degree turn. Brought him a little bit closer to the judges, still a comfortable range for the judges to keep a close eye on him. There's your wing wags. And Justin Miller in the Pit Special S111B, our #1 competitor day in the Sportsman category. Looks like we've got 25 competitors today in the Sportsman category. For everybody back home watching, it's interesting in sport aerobatics as competitors come into the sport, starting in and the basic category and working their way from basic into sportsman and then stepping up to intermediate. It's a large transition for the pilots from the number of figures they're flying to the complexity of the figures to keeping oriented in the box. It's definitely a seasoning process. It takes many, many years with a lot of good mentoring and a lot of mistakes on the way. As the pilots continue to step up in category, it just gets exponentially harder. We introduce different maneuvers as the category increases in difficulty also. The complexity of the figures from basic to sportsman into intermediate as we transition on up to advanced. More complex figures, and then at the top of the heat and our 5 category system, unlimited, which pretty much anything goes. Amateurs can dream up. There is some criteria, but at the end of the day, whatever their pen can put to the paper, they got to fly. Looks like we got a glider up top just coming across the moon. We had a lot of good moon shots today. Again, my apologies, everybody watching at home. I do not have the sequence cards in front of me at this time, but I'll do my very best to narrate you through some of these flights today. Lift Aviation is out here. They set up an awesome booth on the east side of the field. Food trucks out there. Feel free to go by. Anyone planning to come out or people that are already out here, let your friends know. Go over to Lift Aviation. They brought helmets, gloves, shoes. They've got a lot of t-shirts for sale. One of our major players in the sponsorship side of the United States Aerobatic Championships. It takes a lot of money to put one of these championships on, and we couldn't do it without all our wonderful sponsors. This should be Gavin Mcormick in a DG-1000, flying his free, and this is Sportsman glider. The judging criteria for the gliders is somewhat different than the powered aircraft. For all those watching at home, they also have figures that are not allowed in powered aircraft and vice versa. I'm sure the glider guys are enjoying today. It's absolutely beautiful in Salina, Kansas. 70s, light wind. Gavin's getting himself positioned in the box. Here comes the traditional wing wags to tell the judges that he has started the sequence. Again, Gavin Mcormick flying a DG-1000. Gavin's really putting the DG-1000s through its paces. A series of beautiful radiuses, followed by a half roll. He's headed back south, anticipating his next figure. As Gavin comes around, half loop, half roll. A lot of people do call a Immelman, very famous figure back in the early wars. Looks like Gavin's slowing up. I'm anticipating a spin. Let's see what we got here. Again, I'm calling this as I see it. I do not have sequences in front of me. There's a half a turn. 1 and a quarter. Appears to me it was a 1 1/4 turn upright spin. As he comes across the y-axis, he's coming right at us, trading altitude for airspeed. Into a nice clover leaf. He's come across center box. They use 30-degree angles instead of our 45-degree angles. He comes across the box, half roll. I believe he was in a lay-down Humpty with a half roll on the first 30-degree angle. Positioned very nicely for the judges. Right here on the east side of the field. (180-degree turn). Beautiful roll, and there is your wing wags to signify that Gavin McCormick has done his sequence in the DG 1000 and glider Sportsman, flying the free. Okay, folks, we got a power next. This will be our number 2 competitor in the Sportsman-powered free program. This will be Chris Kleinhenz, flying an extra 330LX. Again, I don't have the sequences in front of me as of yesterday. I'm going to call live, so bear with me if I misspeak. I will do my very best to give you, I'll call them as I see them. Started the morning out very nice, unlimited briefing at 7 a.m. this morning. Those guys were launching around 8 o'clock. Finish up those 11 competitors. Again, none of this would happen without our sponsors. Aurora Aero, MX Aircraft, Extra, MT Propeller, Northwest Insurance, just to name a few. Aircraft Spruce and specialty company Solaris Aviation down in Palaca, Florida. David and Martha Martin, icon in aviation and aerobatics. Sky Ashen, Marty Florinori, Patty Wagstaff, 3-time women's overall national aerobatic champion. Patty is a mainstay and icon in the sport of aerobatics and air shows, currently running a flight school. All right, here we come, diving in for the Sportsman free. No, this is Chris Kleinhenz in a 330LX coming across the box. I'm calling him live. Pull to vertical, cap off upright. I would imagine we're anticipating setting up for a spin. Let's see what is on tap next for Chris. Half, 1 and half, 1.5 turn upright spin to exit south, coming back across the box. Vertical line, laying out upside down, looking through the top of that canopy, picking up those box markers to help him make a decision where to drop in his next figure. Hooker harness holding him in very tight as he pulls back on the stick, vertical down. Coming back across the box, powers back in. setting another vertical line. Judges are very critical on the vertical ups, vertical downs, 45 horizontal. It's the basics around all the figures in competition aerobatics. Nice turnaround, hammerhead. Full left rudder brings him back around. He's coming back to the north. We pass right at center box. That's where we're currently at. Beautiful aileron roll. Into a turn. Not sure if we're in 180 or 270. We shall see a 90-degree turn. He took it away from us on the y-axis, back to the vertical. Coming back at the judges to reposition himself. Pull, 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 Humpty. There's a quarter roll down. Coming back across the box, working the box very nicely. Comfortable altitude for the judges. Judges do not like to see the competitors at the lower ends of the box. It takes away from them judging the figure versus worried about the pilot's altitude. It's best just to stay away from the bottom. Sportsman's bottom is 1,500 feet, 1,500 feet AGL above the ground. The pilots have to stay above that altitude at all times. Coming back across the box, upside down. Chris is doing a very good job with his 330LX. Half loop down. Double aileron roll. And a wing wag to finish off Chris Kleinhenz in the sportsman powered category, flying the 330LX. Nice job, Chris. Again, I like to always bring in our sponsors as we move on through the week. Arizona Soaring, Bob Freeman, EA Chapter 1127, Full Stop Aviation over there in Tennessee. Hector Ramirez, IC Chapter 89, Jeff Bourbon, the Yak 110, an icon in aviation, sport aerobatics, competition aerobatics, longtime member of the Unlimited Aerobatic team. Can't say enough wonderful things about Jeff and Maria Bourbon. John Wilkman, Judy Phillips, Paraphernalia Softy Parachutes, Philip Gregg, Sara Arnold, Tom Rhodes, Your Mom LLC, just to name a few more. Got a long day on tap, a lot of sportsman pilots, glider pilots, and then we move on to the advanced category, where today the advanced pilots will be flying sequence number 2. This is their first unknown. Unknowns always pose a very big challenge to the pilots, as there's 5 spots still available on the advanced U.S. National Aerobatic team. Looks like we're going to have a glider next. They are climbing to altitude. Glider will be off tow. And again, sportsman glider, this is going to be Oleg S. That's what I'm going to call him. And a Fox 1P. Pretty maneuverable glider from what I understand. Again, I don't have sequences in front of me at this time. I'm calling them live. Doing my very best to bring the action home to you, wherever you shall be, at work, the gym, or just having a little time at home with a cup of coffee. I believe we're going to get up into the lower 80s today out here. coordinated ballet between the gliders, the powered aircraft, Salina Tower, our Air Boss and ATC system all working in a coordinated effort. FAA and Salina ATC have worked tirelessly to help us make this competition happen. I'm looking for the glider. Coming in, he's off tow. Okay, he's on final here. He's to the south. Here comes some wing wags. Again, Oleg S. flying the Fox 1P. Like a beautiful loop. Ever so graceful as these gliders fly. Headed back south, maybe to reposition into the next figure. Pulling back on the stick, bringing the glider back towards the box as a half roll. I would guess to say around 2,500 feet or so, maybe a little higher. Glider's using all that altitude to then push the nose over to gain energy. Energy management is the name of the game for these glider pilots. I believe Oleg is trying to position himself in the box for his next figure to increase his position score that the judges will give out after the completion of the flight. The judges enjoy watching a flight as if they were watching a play sitting in the center of the stage. Not having to move their head too much, not having to look too high above them, just a comfortable view as if they were watching a ballet. Beautiful shot coming across. We're going half, 1 1/4 turn spin, 1 1/4 turn upright spin, coming on the y-axis, coming right at us into a clover leaf aircraft off the y-x-axis, heading south, right here on the east side of the field. There is a half roll, pushing forward on that stick, support the nose as he brings the stick back into his lap. Coming around for the lay down Humpty, I believe. That's what it looked like. They only need 30 degrees. Into a 180 degree turn. Full roll. And there's our wing wags.
Sweat pouring down on the side of the riverbank. Drinking tall boys, catching small mouths, just one of those summer days. Heard something rustling through the trees. Turn around, Lord, what do I see? Blue eyes, blonde hair, Daisy Dukes, and a baby tea. Hot southern lass, I must confess, this girl was blessed. Hot southern lass, letting down her hair, getting undressed. Hot southern lass, I'm losing breath, pounding in my chest. Yeah, I don't think she noticed I was there. Didn't even see the bar was shaking on my line. This catfish gonna have to wait, she's taking her sweet old time. Styling strap for King Knee, dipping her toes in the water.
Okay, folks, back to powered aircraft. This is going to be pilot number 3 in the Sportsman category, Dick Swanson, flying the Belanca Decathlon. I am calling the flying as I see it today, live. Do not have the sequences in front of me. Later on, we'll be flying the advanced flight. I will have that sequence available. All right, diving in. 3 wing wags, distinctive wing wags to start the sequence. It's always nice to see a wide variety of airplanes, what these pilots can do with high wing, mid wing, low wing, 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder. Dick pulls vertical, cap off upright, setting himself up for a spin. A little bit of headwind component to help that aircraft slow down as he hits full right rudder, half, 1 1/2 turn upright spin. Beautifully done. He comes back across south of the box. Power's coming back in. 45-degree line. Half roll. I believe he's pulling back around to a vertical down line. That's to be a wedge figure, as we would call it. Back to level, into his next figure. Nice vertical line, pulling across the top. What does Dick Swanson have in store for us next? Coming across the box, upside down, ever so gracefully. Nice vertical line down. Comes back across the box. Set another vertical line. I believe we're into a Humpty, yep. Vertical line, close the Humpty, vertical down. We'll be exiting to the north. We've got a hammerhead turnaround. Aircraft slows to almost no airspeed, full left rudder, right aileron as the aircraft flies around the top and back to level. Again, nicely done by Mr. Dick Swanson. He's putting the decathlon through the paces today. For those folks watching at home, it's actually a lot harder, in my opinion, flying these type aircraft versus some of the fancy plastic airplanes that we have out here this week. And Mr. Swanson is doing a heck of a job as he comes across the top of the box, upside down, those hooker harnesses, keeping him strapped in the seat as the G loads increase as he has a half loop down. Two points of a 2-point roll to finish out a nicely flown sequence by Mr. Dick Swanson. There's your 3 wing wags. Tell the judges he is finished, and they will shuffle some paperwork for the next competitor. Everybody watching at home, these volunteers in our judges section and across on the east side of the field are working diligently with paperwork, stacking up paperwork, organizing it, so it's ready to go for all these judges out here. It's a lot of work. Mary Beth Rudd back there, Chris Rudd, his wife is instrumental in this with Monique Hartman and Alice Johnson, just to name a few. So many other people in the background working diligently, getting out sequences, punching in scores. My apologies if I don't have the names right off the top of my head, but trust me, there's a lot of work going on in the background to make this contest run smoothly. Again, our contest director, Shad, if you see him, send him an email, give him a slap on the back. That gentleman, his second year running this contest, has done an outstanding job. People don't realize how much effort and work go into putting on one of these contests. Lots and lots of planning and coordination. I believe we've got a glider up next. This is going to be Marcus Rosenthal flying a DG 1000. Got a nice representation of the United States Air Force Academy. Every year at the U.S. National Aerobatic Championships, these men and women are setting themselves up to serve our country. A bunch of first-class men and women here with us for the United States Air Force Academy. Mark Matacola leads the United States Air Force Academy team, long mainstay out there in Colorado, wonderful person. He is actually, I believe, chiefing running this category. Every category we have a chief judge to help run the category and make sure it runs smoothly. Okay, glider's off tow, entering the box. Marcus Rosenthal, and then the DG 1000. Like a beautiful loop form right there in the center box. Taking this DG 1000 through his paces. Half of a half Cuban, half roll to upright. Remember, they have 30-degree lines, 30-degree angles. The gliders are allowed to use. That was beautifully done. Looks like lots of energy coming back across the box. Half loop up, half roll. Wow. So elegant. I believe we're setting ourselves up for a spin. There's half, 1, and a quarter. That was a 1 1/4 upright spin, which puts him on the y-axis as planned. Coming out the judges, pulling back around into a cloverleaf reposition figure. Beautifully done. Comes back around from center, going left south of the box. In the box as he does a half roll. Supporting the nose. This is a lay down Humpty. Working this east side of the box ever so nicely. A 180-degree turn. very tightly flown sequence. That's what these competitors strive for. As he rolls that beautiful glider around, upside down, continuing to roll. Be his full roll. And nicely done. There are your wing wags, signaling that he has done his sequence. Marcus Rosenthal, very nicely done in the DG 1000. For everybody back home not really familiar with competition aerobatics station, if you could see what I see right now, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 judges stations at this point, and we have a main judge, and each judge is assisted with an assistant who calls the figures, and then we have a recorder. The assistant's job is to assist the judge in what figure is coming up next, and to also have a set of eyes on the figure in case the judge does have a question. All these flights, we're fortunate with Forrest Fox videoing that we are allowed to do a video review if there is any question at all with a figure. So that makes it very nice because there's no doubt the camera does not lie. The recorder writes down comments on the score sheet and the score. So the competitors, once the category is over, has the opportunity, when everybody's done flying for their category, to get their score sheets and take a look at them. See comments, see things that maybe they could take home with them. They could work to improve on their next flight. So that's very nice to have for all these competitors. Looks like we got a powered aircraft coming in next. This is going to be Joseph Chennault in a 300L. You can definitely see the performance difference as we pull vertical in that beautiful 300L, cap off upright, coming back to center box, setting himself up for a spin. There's half a turn, 1 turn and a half. That was a 1.5 turn upright spin. He set the nose perfectly vertical down. That's what the judges want to see. No bobble on the stop, only using the foot. They only want to use that foot to stop it. You put an aileron in there, that can introduce bobble, and the judges don't like that. Coming across the box upside down. Pull into a 45-degree line, vertical down line. Back around, it's like a half loop, okay? Again, I don't have the sequences right in front of me. It's like a half loop back around, maybe a 3/4 down loop. Coming back across the top of the box. On a 45, there's a half roll to upright, gaining energy, setting himself up for his next figure. It's like a half loop up. Half loop down. Full aileron roll. Set a vertical line, very nice vertical line. There's no criteria for the rate of roll in a full aileron roll. No extra points for super fast versus medium fast. Nice turnaround there, 180 degrees, full left rudder, gaining airspeed from all that altitude. Coming back across the box, right at center box. Setting a 45-degree line. Remember, the powered guys and girls are flying 45 degrees, bringing the nose back around. It's like a reverse Cuban to me. Reverse half of a half Cuban. Coming back across the box. Set a vertical line right here in the center. See a little bit of drift out of the north, ever so slightly, but very manageable, into the Humpty Bump. Coming back across the box to the north. Joseph's doing a very nice job, and he is wagging out. I'm not sure if this is a break. We will see. And I believe he's done. Okay. Last night, Chamber of Commerce, working with Blue Sky Brewery, put on a really nice event here in downtown Salina for all the competitors and volunteers and spouses and kids. And for the first time ever, their restaurant, they shut the restaurant down for us and had only the participants and volunteers and family here at the National Championships. We had a very good time. A big shout out to the Blue Sky Brewery. They also brewed our own light blonde ale type acro brew, which was tasty. So we had a good time last night, some pizza, salad, and it's been a wonderful event. We've had a pancake breakfast. We've got many more events coming up as the week goes on. Close everything out on Friday, the awards banquet, and then everybody will start trying to hopscotch their way back to the United States and Canada to get back home. The weather has been just perfect. Had a little bit of hiccup in the beginning with some rain, thunderstorms, but we've had blue skies, cool temperatures, and no wind. Previous years, we've had some pretty wild winds, made for some interesting flying. I do have to say for that. This is really, really nice. Actually, we can work on our tan a little bit while we're here. It's about 81 degrees or so. Got a, looks like a biplane in the background. I'm out here in the cornfield with the judges on the east side. It's like a S2B taking off to the north. We're using runway 35 right now. When competitors come into competition aerobatics, they have that choice of where they want to start and what category, whether it's basic, sportsman, intermediate, advanced, unlimited. There's no criteria that says you have to specifically start at one single point, but most competitors start and work their way up to get all the basic skills. Okay, we've got aircraft coming in. This is going to be Marcus Daiber in a pit special S2C. S2C is a little bit newer Pitts that was produced years ago. A little bit different wing design, tail design. Stick pressure is a little different, but we'll see what we got here. Oh, I'm sorry, we're Chris Lidel. I misspoke. Okay. Chris Lidel in a S2B. Thank you. All right, Chris is setting himself up for that 1.5 turn spin, I do believe. Beautiful S2B. It's like maybe the Marion Cole paint scheme. It's hard to tell from here. Setting a 45-degree line. Half roll as Chris comes across the box. Nice vertical line down, gaining a lot of airspeed, anticipating his next figure. Looks like a half square up. Flying across the box, looking through the top of that canopy, just saying, where am I going to pull down? He liked that spot. He pulled down. There's another half square down. As Chris Lidel comes back through the box, he's right back at center box, setting as best he can a vertical line, and he's coming back around into the Humpty Bump. This is a pull, pull, pull Humpty bump. Exits the figure as he goes into next figure. Chris sets another vertical line, anticipating this will be a hammerhead turnaround. He's looking at that left wing, picking up the ground, full left rudder. Airspeed increases into his next figure. Chris doing a nice job in this Pitts S2B. Aircraft's been around for a long time. Mainstay in competition aerobatics. Half rolled upright on that 45-degree line. Comes back across the box, hanging on those belts. Couple, one, maybe 1.5 negative G, not too bad. Pulls back around. There's some G coming on his body, maybe 3 or 4 Gs, trying to push him into the seat as he does a half roll and another half, 2 of 2. And there's a 90-degree turn. And there your wing wags. Chris Lidel in the Pitts S2B. Very nicely done, Chris. I'm sure you're ready to get that S2B on the ground and have a cold Coca-Cola. Folks, we're moving right along today. A lot of action. We still have many pilots to go in the Sportsman and glider categories. After this category wraps up, we're moving into the advanced category. The judges will then switch sides due to the position of the sun. Judges don't like looking at the sun. It's hard to fairly give the aircraft the pilot a good score. So there's an east judging stand, there's a west judging stand. Everything's strategically set up on each side of the box. Right in the center of the box, we have tents, radios, chairs, all set up. So after this category finishes up, there'll be a little break. Maybe the judges will have a bite to eat, and we will move to the west side of the field. As conditions still are very, very favorable for flying. Latest weather here, it's beautiful, clear skies, 72 degrees. It's very, very nice. Density altitude, not too bad. We're at 2418. It's about 1,200 feet field elevation here. We've got a glider off tow coming in next. Okay, glider's entering the box. Anirvin Puttur. Flying the DG-1000. It's like a beautiful barnstormer loop. Gain a little bit of speed. They're allowed to gain some speed in between figures. If you see the nose down ever so slightly, that's part of their criteria. Coming across the top of the looping portion of the 1/2 of a half Cuban, it looks to me, with the half rolled upright on that 30-degree line. Coming back across the box. What a beautiful day for flying aerobatics. As we complete the Immelman, it's half loop, half roll. Gain a little bit of energy, maybe, or we could be dropping a spin in. Let's see what we got here. Again, Forrest Fox on video, doing a wonderful job as he has done for many years at the U.S. National Aerobatic Championships, bringing you all this action to your living room. All right, here's our spin. There's a half a turn. That rudder's all the way in, and another half and a quarter. 1 1/4, I do believe. That's what we were working towards on the spin combination as we reposition the aircraft for a clover turnaround figure on the right side of the box. Gain a little bit of speed. Anirvin Puttur is doing a very nice job up there moving this DG-1000 around. There's a half roll, come around the lay down Humpty bump. It's the same thing as a vertical Humpty, except they're laying it on a, for the gliders, a 30-degree angle. So that's what you saw there. Into a 180-degree turn. That moon sure is beautiful in the background. We've had a lot of good shots with the airplanes and the moon. As we come around upside down, pushing forward on the stick so the nose of the aircraft does not come down through the horizon. And on back elevator to finish out the sequence. There's our wing rocks. And we are done. Don't forget later in the week, folks, Michael Guyan. Michael Guyan will be a special guest here at the U.S. National Aerobatic Championships. A mainstay in aviation, aviation ambassador, Red Bull Air Race pilot, National Aerobatic Unlimited champion, flight school, you name it. Mike's done it all. Wonderful wife, Karen, right there by his side, and his lovely daughter. But Michael will be here to hopefully do some announcing. We are excited to have Michael, so please do feel free when Michael's here. Hopefully he can make it out. Ask him as many questions as you would like via the chat. Michael has been a mainstay in our sport for a very, very long time. Had the pleasure of working with Michael over many years as a mentor. I can't say enough wonderful things about Michael Guyan, so it'll be exciting to have him here on the premise, U.S. National Aerobatic Championships. We've had a few guests over the years. Michael's joined us, David Martin, another mainstay in the sport of aerobatics, aviation, lovely wife Martha, right by David's side over the years. Another icon. And okay, got another powered aircraft coming in. I believe this is who I had mixed up earlier. I believe this is Marcus in the S2C. All right, Marcus is coming across the box in his Pitch Special S2C aerobatic aircraft. Coming across around 23,000 feet. Top of the box, 3,500 feet, working the top end right now, setting himself up for what I believe will be a spin. There he goes, powers back, full left rudder back on the stick, around he goes for a 1 1/4 turn spin. He's elected to go the other direction today. And some of the other competitors we've seen, you hear the power come in as he goes back to vertical. Beautiful view of the top of the wing. There's our hammerhead turnaround, full left rudder to pivot the airplane 180 degree down, a 1/4 roll, and back to level flight. The aircraft and glider you see are way off in the distance, no factor for everybody watching at home. They're in a separate holding pattern, so no need to be any concern back there. Just our next competitor getting set up. There's a 45 half roll to upright. I believe he was completed a wedge on the left box. As he brings that beautiful S2C around upside down to a half roll to complete that half loop, half roll Immelman figure. Gain a little bit of speed for a half roll, half loop down. Heard the power come back a little bit. Don't want to have too much speed. Anticipating for his next figure. What shall that be? Looks like he was doing a center box barnstormer loop. Yep, that's what it was. Nicely done. These guys are working hard today. Enjoying every bit of it, though. Whether you're flying basic, sportsman, intermediate, advanced, unlimited, all these pilots very passionate about flying their aircraft. Just comes across the box. In a 180-degree turn, the G's are pushing him in the seat as he's trying to look over the nose to stop right on cardinal heading, headed north. Around the front side of the box is he full left aileron to do a aileron roll. He wags out. That's the completion of his sequence. Nicely done. For Marcus Daiber in the Pit Special S2B. Things are moving right along for the championships. Again, folks on the premise, if you get a chance, anybody tuning in, listening, phone a buddy if they're coming out. Lift Aviation is here, have an awesome setup. Please go by and visit Lift Aviation. Bonehead Composites, another champion aerospace. Hooker Harness, holding so many of these pilots in the seat. Lightspeed Aviation, Arizona Soaring. So many IAC chapters, all contributing. Warbird Squadron 32, Jared Kobia. Northern Plains Aerospace and Mahashka Bottling Company, just to continue to name a few, all helping this contest take place. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to send in on the chat. We'll do our very best to answer them. Anything you wish more of in the commentating or not as much of, please just pass that on. We'll try to bring all this home right to your living room as best we can. A little break in the action here. Again, my apologies for not having these frees in front of me. Was unable to get over here quick enough. We flew earlier today. My name's Goody Thomas, by the way, for those of you listening. We had to fly earlier this morning, so just got a little behind on getting over here and grabbing all my sequences for all these wonderful Sportsman pilots. So we're just calling it as we go. Everybody's staying hydrated out here. As comfortable as it is, the nice dry air sucks it out of you. We got a power, I believe. Oh, no, it's a glider. I see him. He's coming off tow. Let's see who we have. I believe this is Payton Nunn Also flying a DG-1000, Payton Nunn, DG-1000. Off toe on the glider. All right, Payton's coming into the box. Payton Nunn and DG-1000 looking good. I know everybody's anticipating their chance. Coming into the box, Payton pulling the nose of the aircraft around ever so nicely. Complete a loop. You can see the nose down ever so slightly, which they're allowed to do, gaining some energy. Going into the next figure. Half of a half Cuban, nicely done. Wings back to level. Into our next figure. I believe we're into our Immelman. So it consists of a half loop, which Payton did, and a full roll on the top to level, coming back across the box. Very nicely positioned so far. I think the judges will like this. Here comes a spin as the aircraft is slowing and slowing. The stick's starting to slowly come back. They're looking where they want to drop the spin in. Let's see if Payton goes left or right. No criteria for that. Depending on where they want to end up for the preceding figure, they're going right. There's a half a turn. Stick still back, half a turn. And a quarter. Rudder comes out, stick comes forward. They're going, I'm exactly where I want to be. On the y-axis, pulling back to vertical for the clover turnaround figure. You see how the aircraft rotates around, transitioning off the y-axis, back around to the x-axis, heading south, gaining speed for their next figure. This is our lay-down Humpty Bump. Pull to 30 degrees, as the gliders do. There's a beautiful half roll. Looking back through the top of the canopy, picking up the ground. There's a 30-degree angle to complete the lay-down Humpty Bump. Back across the box. Very nice. Positioning is nice. I think they'll be very happy so far with this flight. I believe you can see the United States Air Force Academy insignias on the bottom. I believe this is one of the cadets. 180-degree turn. Very nicely done. It's like we're going into a full roll, working this glider real hard. Nice. And there is the wing wag to complete Payton's flight. Nicely done, Payton. I think you might like that. I know I sure did. That was Payton Nunn, everyone, and a DG-1000. Only a couple more gliders left to go, and then we will be all powered aircraft.
Next competitor is powered. Powered is flying a freeze, man.
All right, folks, we're just in a small transition period. Action will be right back at you. Just aircraft are getting in position. Each pilot is briefed at a briefing prior to their category flying, and also we have what we call a starter that is on the starting line for your category you're flying, and they assist the pilot getting in their airplane, making sure they have the correct amount of gas, the correct frequencies, the direction they're flying, and any special considerations for their flight. Very important part of the competition is the starter. Dale and Doug Veda have been running those positions all week, doing a wonderful job. Thank them very much. As our next decathlon, I believe, is inbound. This is a Super D, and this is Forrest Scholin flying a Super D. Here we go. Forrest coming across the box, pulling vertical, capping off upright, anticipating the spin. Power's coming off, looking left and right where I'm in the box. Here we go. Half, 1.5, 1.5 turn, upright spin, very nicely done. Dropped it right in where they wanted to. Coming back across the box, going into their next figure. Like a Humpty bump. Pull, 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 Humpty bump. This will be going in their figure 3. All right, they're into a wedge with pull vertical, 45 line. Then that was a half roll to upright, what we call a wedge. That was on the left side of the box. Coming back, plenty of energy. You can hear the airplane humming along just nicely. Nice vertical. Laying out upside down, looking through the top, going, where am I in this box? Where do I want to pull the nose down for my next figure? Coming back across the box, speed's increasing, G's increasing, going into the north side of the box, just ever so slightly past center as we come back around. Oh, if that was a loop around the moon, that was beautiful. Absolutely. Oh, having a really good time up there right now. You can just tell. Got the Super D humming right along. 180-degree hammerhead, full left rudder, some right aileron, vertical down, coming back across the box. Aileron roll, full roll, nicely done. Coming back across for a half loop, half roll, Immelman. And there are wing rocks to signify they are done their sequence. Again, everybody, that was Forrest Scholin, nicely done in the Super Decathlon American champion. This year, the IAC putting together the national championships, we improved our box markers. Gary DeBon, special thank you to Gary DeBon and his team Gary also ran all the practice slots. We're allowed to have a few days of practice here at Salina in the box prior to our competition starting. Gary put that together. He's worked tirelessly over the years. Big thank you to Mr. Devon for everything he has done. This year, Gary added some dashes from the center of our box, which are very visible. I think have helped all the competitors. That's another thankless job, a lot of time out in these cornfields. That's what we're in, cornfields. And they put these big white panels out so we can visibly see this 1,000-meter cube box that we are supposed to be flying all our figures in. And it's a lot of work, a whole lot of work putting those out. And then once they go out, they got to come up and be taken up at the end of the contest. So this year they went above and beyond and they look fantastic. So if you see Gary, send him an email, give him a slap on the back. But our box markers look fantastic because our next competitor comes in the box. This is Adro Begrow, Pits S2B. Andro's coming about across the box, pulling at 45 degrees. Setting himself up for a spin, right foot, powers off, back in the stick, 1 1/4, turn upright spin, coming back at us on the y-axis, pull vertical, beautiful. Full left rudder, pivot with inside its own wingspan, quarter roll down for the hammerhead turnaround, exit to the south on the x-axis. Set vertical line up, pulling over the top for a 45 descending line. We're in a wedge figure. There's a half roll to upright. Back to level into his next figure. Andro working really hard up there. Immelman, it's our half loop, half roll. Two of a 4-point roll, half loop down. Beautiful barnstormer loop, right in the center. Nicely done, Andro. There's 1/2 of a half Cuban. You saw he set in the 45 line. He did a half roll, then level. Now we're into his 180-degree turn. Full roll, and there are the 3 distinct knife edge wing wags as Adro exits the box. Adro Begrow in his Pits S2B. Nicely done. Categories moving right along. A couple more glide will be all powered rest of the day. Take a little break and move into the advanced category. I know all those pilots are anticipating getting to fly. It's exciting to watch all these pilots vie for a spot on the United States Advanced Aerobatic Team. We've got 3 pilots already granted a spot on the Advanced Aerobatic Team. Britt Leakin, Mike Celebretti, Hope everybody at home's enjoying the live video, Forrest Fox Productions. Okay, folks, I think one of our last two gliders to go. This is Robin Simmons flying a Fox 1P. Robin Simmons, Fox 1P is the glider type. Off toe, right overhead. Let's see how Robin's gonna half, 1.5 turn upright spin, beautifully done. Coming back across the box to the left. Positioning looks good. Here's our lay down Humpty Bump. Pull 30 degrees, half roll. Pull back around to 30 degrees. And end of figure as Robin goes into the next figure. A full roll. Fox SP1 moving around very quickly. Nice rapid roll rate. As we go into the cloverleaf, beautiful turnaround maneuver, sets them up. Robin's on the y-axis now, comfortably spaced from the judges. Should be going into the next figure, which they are. A turn to the right, 90-degree turn, also picking up a little airspeed. You can hear the wind noise on the ground down here. It's pretty awesome. Folks back home, I don't know if y'all can hear that, but it's beautiful. Into a Humpty Bump, I believe. Pull, pull, pull. And a hammerhead turnaround. Visibility out of these gliders is just unbelievable. The view they have as Robin continues to work the box very nicely. Coming back across to center. Pulls that nose around. I believe we are into a loop. Geo's on, now back to 0 G's, come back across the box, and I believe we might have our wing wag there. And Robin is done, nicely done, Robin. That was Robin Simmons in the Fox 1P. One more glider pilot to go, that'll be Daniel Russell, also flying a DG-1000. And then we'll finish out the day for the Sportsman category with power. Y'all just tell me when I'm live again. Okay, folks. Looks like this is Raul O'Brien, S1T. Trying to get a visual on him. I got him. They just came through the box. Got our glider in tow in the background, where they have been all day long. They are at a much higher altitude than our competitor. We have specific holding portions set up, positions I should say, for pilots waiting to be cleared into the box. Very coordinated effort by all the ATC and volunteers. All right, Raul O'Brien, pits S1T. This is smaller pits. You'll probably hear the flying wire singing. Oh yeah. Pulls the vertical. Pull back around into a pull Humpty Bump. Nicely done. Coming back across the box, airspeed coming through about, I'd say 160, 150 maybe. Pulling a foot and cap off upright. Here comes a spin, right foot, half 1.25 turn spin as they hit the opposite rudder to stop the rotation. Stick goes forward, power comes in. Coming at the judges, it's going to pull back on the sticks. The G load increases on his body, going vertical. We're looking down the tail of the airplane, full left rudder. The aircraft pivots around. The hammerhead turnaround. There's a quarter roll. If you notice, they're still on the vertical down. That's all criteria the judges are looking for. Back across the box into his next figure. We go back to vertical. Nose comes around, looking back through the top of that canopy to find the ground. We're on a 45-degree descending line. We're in a wedge. There's a half roll. Staying on the 45, that's critical. Spacing between before and after roll have to be equal for the judges to issue that really good score. Line spacing is very important as come across the top of a half loop, half roll. Immelman, kind of right on us. Maybe the winds change a little bit. There's a 2 of 4 points of the roll. Come back around half loop down. Coming back across the box. We're in a big barnstormer loop. There's a little light in the seat. Here comes the G back on the body. 3, 4 Gs, and end of figure. Going back into that beautiful blue sky. Stick comes back, coming back around for a 1/2 of a half Cuban. There, as you notice, the looping portion, 45 degrees, half rolled upright, and back to level in a 180-degree turn. Full aileron roll to the left, maintaining altitude. There's your wing wags from our pits. S1T, beautiful little airplane. Raul O'Brien, nicely done. Okay, one more glider, and then that'll be it for pilots today for now. There's the S1T recovery. covers, comes back at 3.5, right along. Mark Maticola again running this category, doing a really nice job over there. Also head of the United States Air Force Academy cadets. He's been a mainstay for many, many years as our last glider pilot dives in the box, representing the United States Air Force Academy. Daniel Russell in a DG 1000. Looking good, Daniel. Diving in. He is off the tow plane. Here comes your wing wags. All right, Daniel. Daniel's coming across the box. Looks like Daniel's setting himself up nicely for the loop. There's his nicely done loop. Daniel's coming back through the box, headed north. Just passing our center position. Again, this box is not real big, so 1,000 meters cubed, 3,000 square feet with 150 feet buffer zones on each end. There's a nice 1/2 of a half cube in it, look to me, from where I'm standing. There's a Immelman, which is a half loop and half roll at the top. I believe we have a spin coming up. I'm just sort of anticipating this. Everybody watching at home, again, I apologize, I don't have all the sequences in front of me for this category. Yep, going right, half, 1 1/4. 1 1/4 upright spin, nicely done, Daniel. Coming back to the judges, right on the edge of the box. We're looking straight up as they do a reposition clover. Coming back around, he's looking down, probably picking up the edge of the box. He sees those box markers. Working the edge slightly. Coming back around. Here's his lay down Humpty. They get to use 30 degrees, so he pulled 30 degrees. He did a half roll, brought the nose of the aircraft all the way back around to 30 degrees. United States Air Force Academy, well represented future of our military. It's awesome to have these cadets here, and Mark Maticola keeping them all squared away. Beautiful roll, the DG 1000. And there's your wing wags. Nicely done. That was our last glider of the day, I believe. We're going to be powers from here on out. Again, that was Daniel Russell, DG 1000, United States Air Force Academy. Great job, Daniel. Having a really good time. We have several more Sportsman powered pilots to go. I'll just read off some names. Anybody home wonders when their other half might be flying, or friends and family. Up next, we've got Kelly Fawcett. We've got Scott Beadle, Mark Haven, Tien Luu, Jonathan Griffin, Trevor Smith. Okay, folks. Okay, we're going to take about a 5-minute break. Judges are stretching their legs, grabbing some water, starting to warm up a little bit. We'll be back with you in about 5 minutes.
The sweat pouring down on the side of the riverbank. Drinking tall boys, catching small mouths, just one of those summer days. Heard something rustling through the trees. Turn around, Lord, what do I see? Blue eyes, blonde hair, Daisy Dukes, and a baby tea. Hot southern lass, I must confess, this girl was blessed. Hot southern lass, letting down her hair, getting undressed. Hot southern mess, I'm losing breath, pounding in my chest. Yeah, I don't think she noticed I was there.
Okay, folks, welcome back. Had a break, give our judges a chance to hydrate, have a couple grapes, apple, get a little food in them. We still got a lot of flying to go. We got Kelly Fawcett on tap up next, just departed in a 300L. Gliders are done. Powered aircraft rest of the day for the Sportsman category. Anybody can get involved in competition aerobatics, sport aerobatics. There's no rating for it. It's just another form of aviation that is available to any and everyone, whether you want to fly off the water, you want to get involved with airlines, bush flying, warbirds, ultralights, the list goes on and on. Aerobatics is another form of aviation that anyone that is already flying or wants to get into aviation or flying, there's aerobatic schools sprinkled all throughout the country. I'll talk a little more about that in a minute after Kelly, who was diving in the box, flying a beautiful extra 300L. This is a 2-seat extra. A little more of a lower wing version of the extra. Very, very maneuverable, as you'll so see. Kelly coming across the top of a half loop, half roll, the Immelman. Still very nice out here. 2 of 4 points of a 4-point roll to inverted, hanging on the straps, pulling around, power comes back, 3 or 4 G's on the bottom of that, power's in for the half loop down. Kelly's coming back across the box. Positioning's looking nice. Sets that vertical line. Put a string through it. Very nicely done. Capping off upright. Setting up for the spin half. You heard the power coming back. 1 rotation and a half. There's a 1.5 turn, upright spin. Saw a little bit of aileron introduced in there. That creates somewhat of a bobble sometimes for the judges, rather than just using their feet. You're encouraged to use your rudders to stop the spin, not get a lot of aileron in there, as it does introduce a little bit of bobble. These airplanes are very, very, very sensitive. Looks like the pilot's taking a break there. They didn't like something that they saw or felt, so they're going to regroup. They're going to climb back to altitude and decide where they're going to pick up the sequence. Pilots have that ability. They do take a penalty deduction. When you do break in the middle of a sequence, the penalty deductions are greater in the amount of deduction the higher the category. So as you go up in difficulty of category, if you choose to take a break in the middle of the sequence, you will be penalized for that. However, for safety reasons, or if the pilot is just confused in their sequence, it's better for them to break, regroup, which Kelly's doing now, and wing wagging back in. Nicely done on the break. Coming back around to complete the sequence in this extra 300L to come back to center box. Got a 45-degree line, and we're into a 45 hammerhead. A variation of the hammerhead is a 45 entry into the vertical line, full left rudder, right aileron, airplane pivots around, and back to level flight out of the 45-degree hammerhead. Kelly's going back around, pulling back around in a half loop. This might be a full loop. Let's see. Nope. 1/2 of a Cuban. Nicely done. Half roll, 45 degree. And back to the vertical. This is another hammerhead, which they're allowed to repeat because it's not the same criteria as a 45 hammer. And back to level flight. Full roll. And a 180-degree turn to the left. a 270-degree turn. So we had a 180-degree turn, 270-degree turn, and now a 90. And that was Kelly Fawcett, extra 300L. But yes, there are aerobatic schools all over the country. We encourage anyone in aviation to come out and check out some of these aerobatic schools. It's a wonderful form of aviation. Get your tailwheel endorsement. Many of the universities around the United States have aerobatic programs. We're hoping that some of the aviation universities and aviation degrees can also acquire other aerobatic aircraft. We all know they're very expensive to operate. And there's been a couple of universities that have been very fortunate to have donated through their flight programs to give these up-and-coming aviators an opportunity to fly aerobatics, increase their flying skills, their awareness, and confidence that they can take with them into other parts of their aviation career. Highly encouraged. Dagmar Crest has been an instrumental pilot. She's out of Colorado, helping these universities and their aviation programs, a mentor to so many of these up-and-coming aviators. Dagmar is a long-time competitor in the sport of aerobatics at every level. She is a mainstay in competition, flying, aviation mentoring. We're very fortunate to have Dagmar and all her dedication, all these wonderful up-and-coming aviators. So many of them have come along through Dagmar schools. Dagmar was a long-time high-level unlimited competitor for many years, decided to retire from competition and give back to the community, help all these young aviators, which she's done a fantastic job. Very fortunate to have Dagmar in our system. Okay, up next we got a decathlon. This is, oh sorry, this is Citabria. This is a Balanca Citabria. This is Scott Beadle. Coming across the top. Beautifully done, just like a pull, pull, pull Humpty Bump. Wrapping that Citabria up, working really hard. 45-degree line to cap off, anticipating of a spin. Here we come, left rudder stick back, 1/2 and 1/2 and 1/4. 1 1/4 turn upright spin, very nicely done. Exits on the Y away from us. Back to the vertical and the traditional hammerhead turnaround. Beautiful. 1/4 roll down, still on that same vertical line. Judges are looking for that spacing. Exiting left of the box on the south end of the box. As we've got a little regional jet taking off in the background, if you can hear that. We're on a 45-degree line, 1/2 roll to upright on a wedge figure, gaining airspeed from that altitude into our next figure. Bringing that Balanca right around for an Immelman, 1/2 loop, 1/2 roll. These pilots and the Citabrias, the decathlons, in my opinion, working very, very hard to maneuver these airplanes. 2 points of a 4-point roll, 1/2 loop down. You hear the power coming back in. Don't want to overspeed the aircraft. Beautiful barnstormer center box loop. Looks like we're into a 1/2 of a half Cuban. We are. There's your half roll, 45. Coming back across the box, very nicely placed. Into a 180-degree turn. And finish it off, looks like with a full aileron roll. Oh, we still are going here. We're into a 180-degree turn. So we had our full aileron roll. They positioned themselves nicely. Right side of the box, 180-degree turn. And third end of sequence. Okay. That was Scott Beadle. Rest of the pilots we have today are all powered aircraft. Next on deck is Mark Haven flying a beautiful Christian Eagle 2. I believe this is the same Christian Eagle I was talking to Mark. Same paint as 1986. His dad built the aircraft. He's a Texas boy. I think I'm saying this correctly. Beautiful, beautiful airplane. He's got a single place canopy. One of the prettiest Christian Eagles I've ever seen. He's on deck. Coming up next. Okay, folks, this is Mark Haven in the Christian Eagle 2, pulling vertical. One and a half turn spin. Back to upright. Mark's coming back in with the power, coming back across the box. Flying this beautiful Christian Eagle 2. Setting himself up for the hammerhead turnaround. Two-point roll. half roll on the vertical down. We're into a turn. Only Mark knows where we'll stop it here. 180-degree turn, nicely done. Mark's carrying nice energy in that Christian Eagle too. .45-degree hammerhead. Mark pulls to 45, which we're allowed. It's a 45 hammer. Pulls vertical, kicks full left rudder, and around he goes for the hammerhead turnaround. Coming back across the box to the south. One half of a half Cuban coming back around, pull the aircraft all the way around, 45-degree half roll, half loop up, and a half loop down. There's a 90-degree turn, full roll, beautiful Christian Eagle, and a wing wag to finish it off. Nicely done, Mark, and that really pretty Christian Eagle too. Okay, folks, we're moving right along here. Again, that was Mark Haven and a Christian Eagle 2. Next on tap, Tien Luu, flying a Game Bird GB1 aircraft. My first time getting to see a GB1 fly in person. Philip Steinbach behind the GB1 design over in Bentonville, Arkansas. Long time aviation designer, unlimited competitor, 4-minute freestyle competitor, amazing individual, amazing pilot. Got a great company over there in Simpleville, Benton, Arkansas. I've never been, but I heard it's a wonderful little town. But Tien Luu will be flying one of these GB1 Game Birds. See a lot of them out there in the community. Game Birds community is very well representative all throughout the country and world. Excited to see Tien fly. Had the opportunity to spend a little time with Tien this week. He and his comrades have been helping out endlessly here at Nationals. Very grateful to have the whole group of young aviators here. Their enthusiasm is contagious. Looking forward to seeing Tien Luu fly. About 12 or 13 competitors left. Exciting day for competition aerobatics. Okay, folks, here comes Tien Luu in the Game Bird GB1. Coming across the box, lots of energy. Pulling vertical, beautiful vertical line. He's going to cap off upright, setting himself up for a spin. Coming across the box, getting his positioning just right, looking left and right out of that GB1. Power's coming off. 6 coming back, left foot, half, 1.5 turn spin from 10. Sets the vertical line down. Power's going to be coming back in as he comes back across the box. Nicely done, 10. Pulling back to the vertical. Vertical penetration of the GB1 is second to none. Coming across the box, inverted hooker harnesses are holding him in that aircraft ever so tightly as negative G's allow him to hang on the straps. G increases on the positive side as he comes back around to level flight. 10's looking good so far, very compact flight he is flying. He goes vertical. Here's a hammerhead turnaround, kicking that full left rudder. Speed's going to be increasing now. He's seeing exactly where he is, those big white panels out there in the fields. Full roll from 10 as he comes back across the box into a tight 90-degree turn. G-loads are pretty high in there for him. He pulls vertical. Pulls around for the top of the Humpty, quarter roll down, pull, quarter down, Humpty, exit to the south, going back to the vertical. Roll to upright into a wedge. Full vertical, 45 line, half roll to upright. 10's doing a nice job keeping the flight very compact right here in front of the judges. Half loop up, he's coming back across the box, hanging on those belts, looking through the top of the canopy. Pulls the nose back around. Here comes 3, 4, maybe 5 Gs. Depends on his speed and how hard he gets into that pull. Double roll from 10, and there's his wing wags. Nicely done, Tien Luu, and that beautiful GB1 game bird.
Something rushing through the trees. Turn around, Lord, what do I see? Blue eyes, blonde hair, Daisy Dukes, and a baby tea. Hot southern mess, I must confess, this girl was blessed. Hot southern mess, letting down her hair, getting undressed. Hot southern mess, I'm losing breath, pounding in my chest.
All right, folks, we got Jonathan Griffin, Pit Special S2C. Jonathan Griffin in a S2C. All right, folks, belt check was complete. Aircraft's climbing back up to altitude. Those belt checks are extremely important for aircraft continuity control. Make sure your belts are tight, no foreign objects in the cockpit that the air pilot can then secure if they need to. It's very important that we do those. Again, this is Jonathan Griffin in a Pit Special S2C. Pulling that S2C to a 45-degree line. We've seen this a few times today. Setting up for a spin, trading airspeed for altitude. Power's coming back, right stick. A little power to help stop the 1 1/4 turn spin. That's technique only. Sometimes you do see pilots do that. It's technique only. As you pull back to vertical on a vertical upline, right here, dead center box. Hammerhead turnaround, full left rudder. Quarter roll down. Pulling back around. A wedge figure. He pulled vertical, pulled to 45 degrees, half roll, 45 degrees, upright, coming back across the box. Plenty of smash, energy, I should say. Take them into their next figure. There's a half loop, half roll Immelman. Two points of a 4-point roll, half loop down. G's are increasing around the bottom and end of figure. Pulling back on the stick as that beautiful S2C comes around to a center box loop. Center box loop looking very nice. Well done. Back to the vertical. Staying really busy in this sequence, keeping it nice and tight. Here's your 1/2 of a half Cuban. 45, half roll to upright, coming back across the box, 160 or so knots. Going back south. Transitioning into a 180-degree turn. Very nicely done. And there's your traditional wing wags. The signal the pilot is done. That was Jonathan Griffin in a Pitts Special S2C. Up on deck next, Trevor Smith, flying another version of the Extra. This is the NG, Next Generation, 2-seat Extra. We have not seen one of those flown yet here at the contest. Another fabulous airplane built by Walter Extra and his team over in Germany. Okay, folks, again, climbing the altitude of Trevor Smith in the Extra NG aircraft. About 10 pilots or so to go. Wide variety aircraft still to come. Temperature's coming up just a little bit. Still a beautiful day. 78 degrees now, and beautiful blue skies in Salina, Kansas. As NG comes across the box, nice corner. Set that vertical line up. Airplane's got some energy, capping off upright. Coming across the top, looking left and right, making sure they're exactly where they want to be in that box. For that full left rudder comes in, back on the stick, rotation 1.5 turn upright spin. Just north of center box, back to level. 45 line, 2 of 4 on the descending 45 line, wedge figure. End of that figure, going into his next figure. Carrying nice energy throughout the sequence. Corners look really sharp. Taking that NG all the way up to 0 airspeed, kicking that left rudder around the airplane goes with inside the wingspan for a hammerhead turn. Quarter roll on the down line, coming back across the box on the y-axis. Back to vertical. Coming back across in a Humpty bump. Pull, 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 Humpty. 90-degree turn, crisp to the south. Back to the vertical and all the way around, continuing to pull into a half loop up hanging by those belts, looking at the box markers, going, where do I want to pull back down? Exactly where they wanted to. Back to vertical down, lots of smash. 180 knots back through across the box, going back to vertical, keeping the flight very, very tight for the judges. Back around for a half square loop up. Half roll and another half roll for a 2 of 2. Half loop down. That was a two points and a half loop down to complete the figure. We're into a 180 degree, 270 degree, super tight 8G turn. There are your wing wags, nicely done. Very nice flight. In the extra NG, Trevor Smith. Got a few more to go here. 10 more aircraft to go to wrap up the Sportsman category for their free flight. Been some good flying today. I see just across the way our chief judge for the category, Mark Maticola, running those United States Air Force Academy cadets. He's doing a great job today. He's coordinating with our starters, ATC in the tower, and our other assistants to Mark Maticola for the nice collaboration and ballet of keeping all this flow together for all the aircraft on the ground and in the air. All these experienced individuals are making the contest run very smoothly. Every now and then we got a few regional jets coming in and out, getting people to where they need to go. And Salina Tower is ever so kind to accommodate us within the airline traffic arrivals and departures. Not a cloud in the sky. Beautiful, beautiful day. We had a nice start to the morning, a little chilly in the air. Things are warming up nicely, actually getting a little bit of a tan. Feels good. Got another power aircraft up on deck, just getting to altitude. I see him on base. Transitioning out of the hold. Looks like they're going to be coming inbound here in just a little bit. I see them inbound. Okay, I think I see some wing wags coming in high and to the left. We got we have Jaret Burgess back in a American champion decathlon. This is Jaret Burgess. Flying a decathlon. It's going to be working this airplane hard. Definitely has a unique sound compared to the NG that we just saw fly. Pulling to 45 degrees. Nice 45-degree line. It's going to cap off upright and setting himself up for a spin. There's half of a turn, 1 turn, and 1.5 to finish the 1.5 turn spin, headed back south. Pull the stick back around, picking up the ground. Half loop up, flying across the box, upside down, keeping the nose of the aircraft up before they want to bring it back down. Half loop back down. 3 to 4 Gs coming back around at the bottom of that, and we're going into a full aileron roll to the left, back to the vertical, coming around. Looks like we might be setting up for another half loop up. Coming across the box. And Another half loop down, hanging on those belts for quite some time. All that blood wants to go to your head. Coming around for a 45-degree hammerhead. It's going to be kicking full left rudder, a little right aileron. Airplane pivots within its wingspan, back vertical down and back across the box. Working this box ever so nicely. Putting the decathlon through its paces. Pull, 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 Humpty Bump, right there just south of center, coming back across. Nice corners. Decathlon's had some very nice corners today. And this is another hammerhead without a 45 entry. Nice turnaround. You see the airplane slowly coming down in altitude, but maintaining their floor very nicely. As they work their way down in the lower altitudes, judges even have a better view, but staying above their hard deck floor, so they don't get any low calls. If you fly too low, below your category's boundary floor, you can get penalties, and those penalties can start adding up as we go into this left 270-degree turn. I believe this might be the end of the sequence coming up here. Nope, maybe one more turn. Up, there's the wing wag signaling the judges we are done the sequence. And everybody at home, that was Jaret Burgess in the American champion decathlon. Next up is Sara Arnold. Sara is also flying a decathlon. Sara's been a mainstay in aerobatics for much of her life. Huge volunteer and contributor to the IAC behind the scenes, not only with her flying, but behind the scenes with a lot of administrative work, helping the contest continue to run safety, held a few positions in the officer position, I believe, if I'm speaking that correctly. We change those up from time to time. So Sara will be up next, followed by Casey Siebel, and we'll be back into a GB1. But first up on deck will be Sara Arnold in the Blanca Decathlon.
Sweat pouring down on the side of the riverbank. Drinking tall boys, catching small mouths, just one of those summer days. Heard something rustling through the trees. Turn around, Lord, what do I see? Blue eyes, blonde hair, Daisy Dukes, and a baby tea. Hot southern lass, I must confess, this girl was blessed. Hot southern lass, letting down her hair, getting undressed. Hot southern lass,
Y'all tell me when. Okay, folks, up on deck, Sara Arnold in the beautiful Balanka decathlon. We'll see definitely a difference in aircraft. Actually, Jaret Burgess was a decathlon. Sara will be in a decathlon. Before that, we had an extra NG. So we got two decathlons sandwiched between an extra NG and a Gamebird composite. So you're getting to see two types of aircraft being flown. Both have their challenges. Both have their pros and cons. Wonderful airplanes, excited to see Sara put it through the pace, and then followed up by Casey. Just because you're in a plastic high-powered airplane doesn't necessarily mean that translates to good performance always, and vice versa. Maybe in a lower-powered airplane, roll rate's not as good, but can be flown beautifully to the judges' liking. It's an enjoyment to see all these aircraft being flown by so many talented pilots. I was fortunate to be a part of the Nationals. Again, I'm Goody Thomas, working alongside Forrest Fox, bringing everybody back home this wonderful video feed. We hope the feed has been good for everyone. A lot of effort has been put in behind the scenes to make sure we're getting a good picture quality. Hey, high up and on base. I'm estimating she's a little over 3,500 feet, which is fine. She's out there getting her aircraft situated before she makes a turn inbound. She's looking off to her right, I would assume about right now, seeing those big white box markers as she's turning inbound. She's getting herself lined up. Here come her wing wags. This is Sara Arnold diving into the box, and she is flying the wonderful Balanka decathlon. Sara Arnold, everybody. As she comes in, getting her airspeed right, her altitude right, exactly where she wants to be. She pulls vertical. She caps off upright, setting up for a 1.5 turn spin, I believe. I'll count them with everybody at home. There's half, 1.5. Nicely done. She'll come back in with power here. Heard the power come in. Nicely done on the spin, Sara. She pulls to 45 degrees and does a half roll. She'll pull back around to the vertical down. She's in a wedge figure. Coming back across the box. Airspeed's increasing ever so slightly. She's got plenty of energy. As the airplane comes back across the box, she's getting her position exactly right. Pulling vertical once again. Looks like we are in a half square. She completed a half square loop, so she's in the figure. She's coming back down. Looks like another half square. Sara's coming back across the box to the north. Still light winds, 78 degrees. Aircraft are performing very nicely as she pulls the vertical. Picking up the ground, coming over the top, stick back, completing a pull, Humpty Bump, back to level, exiting on the just north of center, flying a very compact sequence this afternoon. Here comes your hammerhead turnaround, full left rudder. Vertical down, nicely done. Coming back across center box. Sara pulls the Balanka to vertical into a wedge figure. She went vertical, 45 degree, half roll. Her timing on either side of the roll was nicely done, very well symmetrical. She pulls back around, half loop. And Another half loop down. Coming back across the box. And 2-point roll. There was one half and then the second half to upright. There's the beautiful starburst on top of the wing for the wing wag. And that was Sara Arnold flying the Blanca decathlon. Up next is Casey Siebel, one of our younger competitors. Just met Stacy not too long ago. Casey here at Nationals. Nice young man. Up in the Montana, California area, and I think Montana also. Always meeting new faces, new people while we're here at Nationals. That's what it's all about. Casey's got a beautiful game bird. See him put these through the paces, which will be exciting. Okay, folks, I hear Kate south. Prop sounds like it's getting pushed forward. Game bird is going to be inbound. I hear him there. I see him. I got him in the hold. He just orbiting. Called in by name. They want to make sure the other competitor that flew before us is clear of the box. And they'll clear Casey in here momentarily. I've got eyes on him. A couple miles south of the field. Casey's inbound. And watching him come in. He's scooting right along. Pretty good clip, it looks like. Hear that game bird GB1 winding up. Let's see what Casey's got today. Looks like Casey was doing a belt check. It's coming back around. Casey looks like he's got the altitude he needs, just making sure his seat belts are where he likes them. Then he'll come back around and dive into the box. All right, Casey. Casey's coming back around, getting repositioned. Here he's diving in. I see him at knife edge, and he's to his wing wags. And 3, Casey into the box in the GB1. It's like a lot of smash. He's smoking right along, looking good, Casey, as he comes to center box. Plenty of airspeed, plenty of energy. Hard 7G corner as he goes vertical. Several thousand feet, caps off upright, power's coming off. Here comes left foot for a left 1.5 turn spin. Power's coming back in. Coming back across the box, Casey's taking the GB1 through his paces as he goes vertical. Coming across the top, looking through that big canopy, looking at the box markers, thinking, where do I want to commence my third figure, so it looks right for the judges. He sets his vertical line down, powers off, managing his airspeed, very nicely. Powers in, horizontal is back to the vertical. Again, I'm calling these figures live. I do not have the cards in front of me. My apologies. There's your hammerhead turnaround, full left rudder. Airspeed's increasing, trading altitude for airspeed, coming back across the box. 170 knots, full roll into a left 90-degree turn, maybe 4 or 5 G's there. As Casey pulls the GB1 to vertical, he is on the Y-axis, pulling back around for a pull. Humpty with the quarter roll down, trying to space that quarter roll just right. The judges give him beautiful symmetry scores for placement of the roll in the center of the line as Casey goes back to vertical. Plenty of energy in this flight today. Looks like he's having a good flight. He's in a wedge, 45 degrees, half roll, gaining energy, half roll placed nicely, into figure, back to level flight, coming back just right, a hair north of center as he half loops around and half loop back down, nice and tight, and a double roll. Don't see a lot of double rolls. And there's your 3 wing wags. Casey Siebel flying the GB1 from the Montana area. Nicely done, Casey. Look forward to talking to you about that one. Up next, we have Steven Litsky flying a Zlin. Zlin 242. We have not seen a Zlin yet this week. This will be exciting. Zlin goes way back. That aircraft has been in existence for quite some time. It actually flew in world championships many, many years ago. Nothing wrong with that, just saying that the aircraft's been around for a while. Neat aircraft. It's always fun to have different aircraft variety here at the U.S. National Aerobatic Championships. Might have a couple minutes of break while we get all the judges squared away. A couple bottles of water handed out. It's getting a little toasty in the sun. I see our next competitor in the Zlin at the high hold on the southeast side of the field. Having a great week so far out in Salina, Kansas. Don't forget special guest Michael Goulian will be joining us in a few more days. It's always a pleasure to be in Mike's presence. What a wonderful role model, ambassador for aviation in general. Couldn't have a better first-class person represent aerobatics and aviation than Michael Goulian. So look forward to hearing his distinct voice. In a couple more days, he'll be joining us. Mark Matacola, his United States Air Force cadets. He's been taking care of these guys for quite some time, keeping them straight, putting out some good pilots, our future fighter pilots, transport pilots, special operations. Again, up on deck, Steven Litsky in the Zlin 242. Be coming your way next. Having a good time out here. All right, folks. Hope a lot of people have been tuning in. Visibility is unlimited. Not a cloud, well, maybe way in the distance. Some small little puffies, but they've been like pulled apart like a piece of cotton. It's just blue sky, very light winds. Feels warmer than 78, but perfect flying conditions for all these competitors. The wind can wreak havoc on everybody, and we have been blessed with light winds. Made flying much easier. There goes the citation. Heading out of here. Beautiful day, taking somebody somewhere as we continue to have these arrivals and departures. In between our aerobatic flights to Selena, hard work. Our box location, volunteers. Don't forget lift aviation, tune access, helmet, some shoes, some gloves. Big sponsor of the 2024 U.S. National Aerobatic Championship, Steve Litsky and the Zlin 242. Unique sound with the Zlin. All right, Steve. Steve's pulling vertical. A little bit near the sun. Just where the sun's located. We'll be moving to the other side here in about another hour for the advanced category box. And that Zlin 242. Got a unique sound. To a spin. We are 1 1/4. Going back across the box on the south side of the box on the y-axis. That's the direction he was headed. Vertical, setting himself up for the hammerhead turnaround. Here's the nose is back vertical down. And exit back south. Okay, we're going back to the vertical. I don't have the sequences in front of me. I'm trying to call real time. A little bit south of the box from where I'm standing. Look like a 45-degree half roll back to the vertical, pulling all the way around, continuing the pull past the vertical to a Immelman half loop, half roll. I've seen a lot of those today. Into a 90-degree turn. Okay, looks like we got a break. Getting the Zlin reconfigured to in the box. Steve will get the aircraft situated where he can. Pilots are allowed to do that. However, when you do take a break, you do suffer a little bit of a penalty deduction.
This is a planned break for him for altitude.
Okay, I was just corrected, everyone watching at home. I did not realize with this particular aircraft, he had a planned break in his sequence due to aircraft performance of not being able to have enough performance to stay high enough throughout his flight. So that's perfectly acceptable. That's a very prudent, safety-oriented decision. So that's what he had built into his sequence. Sometimes at contests, depending on weather, the chief judge will allow a planned break. If the ceilings are low, we can still legally fly per the FARs with aerobatics, but they're too low for us to be able to complete the entire sequence. So they'll give you an optional break. You can put that wherever you want in the sequence. Pretty nice little nifty thing to have in your back pocket if you so use. So then when you take that break, you aren't penalized for it. So that's nice to have, but Steve already had a planned break, so that's what he's up there doing, climbing for altitude to make sure he has enough air beneath him when he starts his sequence so he doesn't go below the hard deck of 1,500 feet. So the Sportsman pilots have to stay above 1,500 feet at all times. If they go below that, they will be issued a penalty. Every category has a hard deck minimum altitude. If you bust that, you get penalized. If you go too far below that, qualified from the contest. So you don't want to go low. All right, Steven's coming back in, a wing wag. Let's see what he's got in store for us. Coming back around, look, he did a half roll. Half loop down, picking up energy in the Zlin 242. As he pulls back around, it's like another half loop up. And is a full loop. Me right now, so come back around the string and that half of as he pulled the looping portion around to the 45 degrees. He half ending 40. Back across the box in a 100 turn. And a roll. And I believe a wing wag. I think so. Okay, Steve Payton, GB1. So. A few more pilots to go, everyone at home. We've got 6 more Sportsman pilots to go. There'll be a judges change to the west side and a new set of judges. Give these judges a break. They've been out here for hours, baking in the sun, watching these beautiful flights. And Forrest Fox Productions will relocate to the other side of the field. He'll have his camera and telemetry equipment set up. Sure he continue to bring beautiful feed of aerobatic airplanes to your living room while you're sitting on that couch having a cold lemonade. We might be off air for possibly an hour as we reconvene, reset up the judges stand, get the new category out, the airplanes out for all the advanced pilots, get them situated. They have a briefing which is probably already gone on or going on right now. So here again, what you don't see is all this coordination that's taking place in the background. You just see this wonderful flying that all these pilots are working so hard, so passionate about. Very good for aviation. And then we'll wrap up today with the advanced category and then start back early tomorrow morning, continue the rest of our categories. I believe tomorrow is Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. Sometimes the days run together. Today is Wednesday. So my days are everybody at home. It's time in the sun right here. It is the tour. Okay, all right. Here we go. Next on tap, we have Braeden in that beautiful game bird built by Philip Steinbeck over in Bentonville, Arkansas. They have a very nice facility over there. If you ever get a chance to stop in, say hey to those guys, they'd love to have you. I personally haven't had the opportunity to go yet. It's supposed to be a very nice town. Philip and his team will take care of you. Get you riding one of these GB1s if you're maybe thinking about looking at a very aerobatic Pilot's continue to get his bearings. Braeden's just checking out the box. Roughly, to me, he seems around 4,000 feet. I could be wrong, but he seems to be up there pretty good ways, which is good. Nice cool air. Making sure he will have enough energy when he dives in. Braeden's coming back around. Lining up, and here we go. Wing wags, and Braeden is on deck. Coming across the box. Plenty of speed, 180 plus knots, I would bet. Plenty of altitude. As he sets the vertical line up, he caps off, anticipating spin. Should be a 1.5 turn spin. I believe there's half as power comes back. 1 rotation and 1.5. He's checking his vertical line, looking at that sight in the left wing. Power's coming in, speed's coming in. Plenty of altitude and speed for his next figure. Sets the vertical line up. Nicely done. Laying out on his back, looking through the canopy, finding the box markers. Where do I want to start my next figure? Power's off a little bit. Don't need a lot of smash. He sets the vertical down. Half square down, and into figure into his next figure. Calling these figures live today. Braeden brings that game bird around for a wedge. He pulled vertical, he set 45. There's your 2 of 4 points of a 4-point roll. Nicely done, line spacing good, out level, coming back across the box, through center box, into a turn. He is in a 90-degree turn. He better quickly go or he will be out. Nicely done. He saved. Nice save. Braeden's looking really good as he pulls vertical. And he pivots full left rudder, a little right aileron as that outside wing's trying to fly a little faster than that inside wing. Typically torquing around the torque of the motor. Quarter roll down back to a level flight as he moves across the box, headed south. Braeden's pulling back on that stick, setting a vertical line, looking right up the tail of the airplane. Coming back over the top and to a, looked like a pull Humpty, that's correct, with a 2 of 4 points. Vertical down, nicely done, Braeden. Lots of smash coming on the east side of the box. Moves through, headed north, back to vertical, pulling on the round, looping portion of this figure. Half loop up. And half loop down. We're into another turn. What does Braeden have in store for us? Continuing around, it's like it's going to be a 90 or is it going to be a 270? Only Braeden knows. 180-degree turn. And a 2-point roll. Oh, 3. He did a 3 of 2. Very nicely done. Finishing the sequence inverted. Have not seen that yet today from the Sportsman pilot. Nicely done, Braeden. That was a 3 of 2, and he finished the sequence inverted. Of course, he's got to do his wing wags inverted, and that's what he did. And he is coming back around for aircraft recovery and get a big ice cold water. A few more to go. Sportsman category, Salina, Kansas. 2024, we got Jonathan DeLone up, Stephen Kalabus, Trautmann, Sperry to 5. Advanced aerobatic, Sportsman aerobatic category for today. We're moving into advanced category, so hang tight if you got time at home. Make sure you send the link out to all your friends and family, any other aviation. They're just people who don't know much about aerobatics. We'll pass on to them involved.
Sweat pouring down on the side of the riverbank. Drinking tall boys, catching small mouths, just one of those summer days. Heard something rustling through the trees. Turn around, Lord, what do I see? Blue, white, blonde hair, Daisy Dukes, and a baby tea. Hot southern lass, I must confess, this girl was blessed. Hot southern lass, letting down her hair, getting undressed. Hot southern lass, I'm losing breath, pounding in my chest.
All right, folks, a few more pilots to go.
Yeah, I don't think she noticed.
Just a little break in the action as we get airplanes, as we've been doing all day, repositioned to the proper holding spots. Again, if you have any suggestions, questions, please feel free to type them in. Hopefully we can try to answer some of those questions. Our president, Jim, unable to make it out this year to the Nationals due to many things going on in a very busy life, along with many other individuals. We miss Jim being out here. Hopefully next year he'll have a little more time. Everybody's lives are very busy, and a lot of, we all understand certain things take precedence. So Jim, if you're listening, hope you're well, getting to watch a little bit of aerobatics. Look forward to seeing you next year. An airplane just gonna be Jonathan Super D as we a little more performance than the predecessor, Satabria. Another citation, I believe, passing through. All right, here we go. I think we have a competitor cleared to the box. This is Jonathan DeLone in the Super D. He's headed this way out of the hold. Any friends or family at home? Leg. I hear power coming back, and he's diving into the. All right, he's on final. Here comes wing wags. 1, 2, and 3 wing wags into the box. And the Super D. Pulling the capping all half turn. There's 1/2, 1 and 1.5 turn spin to the left. Coming back across the box. Pulling that stick back on the Super D into a pull Humpty bump and exit back on the X-axis. Pulling back around into a wedge. Pulled vertical. He set a 45 line. There's your half roll. He timed it where the second portion of the line was the same length as the first portion. Nicely done. Into figure. The judges will be looking for that. As he pulls back to vertical. Pulling the Super D around, picking up the ground. Half square up. And a half square. Really nice job here in the Super. Up. And a half loop down. Beautiful center box loop. Having a great time up there in the Super D today. They got hammerhead coming up, full left rudder, a little right aileron. Vertical down, nicely done within the wingspan of the aircraft, and back across the box. Full roll into a figure. Pulling back around on the stick. And there is our half loop, half roll Immelman. And I believe I see some wing wags. And that's the completion of the Super D. Nice job to Jonathan DeLone today. Next up, another aircraft we haven't seen today. This is going to be Stephen Thorne in a Vans RV-14, and he is another Canadian. Traveled all the way here with the Canadian group. Got a nice representative from Canada here. They're having a great time, all really good guys. Got to know them over the years. Stephen has a beautiful RV-14. Stephen, when his Vans RV-14 can be looked up as Flight Chops on YouTube. He has a lot of information. Again, that's Flight Chops, F-L-I-G-H-T space Chops, C-H-O-P-S, Flight Chops. You look him up on YouTube. A lot of good aviation information, aerobatics, products, A lot of sponsors, stickers on his aircraft. He's got a beautiful airplane, very well equipped, full IFR, nice panel. Great, great guy. I said out of Canada, don't know what part of Canada, but a wonderful individual. Been a pleasure getting to know him over the last couple years. I think my first time meeting was last year, possibly, or the year before. But if you get a chance, check out his YouTube channel, Flight Chops. Again, it's beautiful RV-14 Stephen Thorne. All right, Stephen's coming into the box. He's just passing the sun, trying to get his bearings. I got eyes on him. The sun's getting a little where we are. Be nice while. All these judges have been working hard. I know they're probably getting a little hot out here. I've been fortunate. I've been back here with Forrest Fox Productions. I have a tent that I'm able to walk in and out of. Looks like Stephen's just looking around the box, getting his bearings, figuring out how he wants to tackle this sequence. Every pilot has their own ways they like to dive into the box. Sometimes the judges would rather the aircraft come rather briskly one after another into the box. If we choose to just fly around, there's no time limit, like I was saying the other day, but these judges have been out here for a long time, and if you're out just lollygagging and flying around and sightseeing, they don't really enjoy that a whole lot. Our starters try to do a good job keeping us launching airplanes, one aircraft after the other, so we can get the category done, move on to the next category. And the judges do like rapid fire. So here we go. Stephen's in the box, and that beautiful RV-14 as he pulls to vertical. And looks like a P-loop, maybe. I don't have the sequence in front of me. It's hard to tell from here. Stephen's putting that 14 through its paces. There's a 45 line, setting himself up into the spin, and there's half, 1 1/4. Stephen did a 1 1/4 turn spin in that beautiful RV-14. It's got a really pretty yellow paint scheme on it. As he pulls vertical, looking off that left wing, keeping that sighting device perfectly on the horizon. Pivots, kicks that full left rudder, around he goes. Quarter roll, and back across the box. Stephen's pulling back vertical. Pulling over the top. There's his wedge, 45 degrees half roll. Continue a 45 line, then he exits that figure up for the next. Pulling back around. Half loop, half roll. And 2 of 4 of a 4-point roll. Half. Coming back across the box. Plenty of energy. RV-14, Stephen. Stevens into a box. Beautiful tinted canopy. Set up for his next figure. Two-point roll and wing wag. Thorne. That's Arvines. Aircraft. Everyone back home. 3 aircrafts. We've got another Eagle, a Game Bird, and a Super D. So 3 different unique aircraft coming up. Finish up the Sportsman category. And this next competitor is Bo Kalabus, flying a Christian Eagle 2, and he's flying a freestyle. Beautiful Christian Eagles here. Spoke of one earlier. What a very unique and awesome airplane. The Eagles aerobatic team made such famous. Charlie Hillard, Tom Poberezny, and Gene Soucy. I remember as a kid watching them at Oshkosh. Unbelievable what they could do with those Christian Eagles. It's been a mainstay in aerobatic competition throughout aviation. You see a bunch of beautiful ones at Oshkosh every year, some showstoppers. Some people enjoy aerobatics in them, but a beautiful airplane, pleasure to fly. So,
Aviat still sells the kit.
and Aviat, if you're interested, anyone out there, for Christian Eagle 2, you can still get the kit. If you're a builder, enjoy building airplanes, you can buy your Christian Eagle kit and build you one of these beautiful machines. All right, here we go. Christian Eagle 2. Diving in the box. This is Bo. Set vertical line. Bo's coming, pulling back on that stick, looking through the top of the canopy. Looks like we're into a pull, pull, pull Humpty Bump. That's what we just did. Into figure. And Bo's taking his Eagle into the next figure, 45-degree line. I believe he'll be setting up for a spin. Should be. Let's see. Power's off. Yep, there's a half a turn, 1 rotation, and another half. Nicely done, Bo. And beautiful Christian Eagle 2 as he powers in. It's coming back to level. Speed's just right. Positioning's looking really good. Right through center box. Headed south toward the left side of the box. Bo pulls around. Like a half loop up. There's a 2-point roll. Half square down, I believe, or that could have been a 2 of 2 half loop. Again, I don't have the sequence in front of me. Regardless, beautiful flying. Just calling it live as I see it, so everybody knows at home. Aircraft's coming across the box upside down, just coming across center box. As he pulls that nose down, airspeed's increasing about 4 or 5 Gs to complete that half loop down. Energy's nice, positioning's nice. Bo's doing a heck of a job today. As he sets that vertical line, airspeed runs out, kicks that full left rudder, hammerhead turn. Coming back down. Coming back through the box. Set 45. a 45-degree. We've seen a few of those that did it around. Rudder, on vertical creasing, back just off the center, back to the vertical, pulling all the way around that beautiful Christian Eagle too. Bow looking good. Here's a half roll on the 45 to upright into his next figure. He's in a turn. Turning tightly, the G's on his body. He's grunting a little bit as he pulls around 270 degrees, wings level into figure. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen, Bo in his Christian Eagle 2, Bo Kalabus, Christian Eagle 2, nice job. 2 more pilots left to go. Got a Game Bird and a Super D coming up. Alex Trautmann next on deck. And Sportsman will be complete for today. All right, folks, 2 competitors left. It's been a fun afternoon watching the Sportsman and glider pilots, Power and glider. Hear that Game Bird winding up. Must be getting close. All right, here we go. Game Bird's on deck, diving in. There's your wing wags. This is Alex Trautmann, flying a GB1. Alex is pulling vertical, setting the line, looking over the left. He transitions back over the nose. Power's coming back. He's setting himself up for a 1.5 turn spin. I believe there's half a turn, 1 rotation and a half. Rudder's out, opposite end, stick forward. Power's coming in as he completes that nicely done 1.5 turn rotation back across the south side. Alex is pulling back around, flying that left wing all the way up, layout inverted back over the nose, keeping the aircraft level as he flies inverted across the box, also glancing down. Where are those markers, he's thinking? Where do I want to pull down to the next spot in the sequence so I can present this nicely to the judges? Alex is continuing through the box. Positioning awareness looks nice. There's his vertical down. Lots of smash. He's moving quickly. And end of figure. Back across the box, a little downwind as he pulls all the way up to vertical. Hammerhead turnaround. Plenty of time to gain some speed back. And end of figure. Coming back across the box. Full roll into a turn. Only Alex knows. 90 degree, nicely done. Pulling back to vertical, plenty of energy, plenty of altitude. Pulling back on the stick, coming around. Looks like we're into a pull, pull, pull Humpty. Might have a quarter roll. There it is on the way down. Just coming level. He's right at center box. A few seconds, he'll be out to the south if we do not see some movement. He is still in, pulling back vertical, looking good. Right there, kind of on the south edge, but he pulled back around. He's in a wedge figure, which was that pull vertical, 45, half roll. Nicely done, Alex. Back across the box. Nose comes down, speed's increasing, G's increasing, it's back level. Coming through the box for another double roll today, and end of sequence for Alex. Nice job. And the GB1, Alex Trautmann. Last pilot, number 25 for power today, will Tyler Sperry. Will be in a Citabria, I believe. Let's see. Oh, Super D. Tyler Sperry is flying a Super Decathlon. And we will Sportsman. Great group of competitors, awesome flying. I see our next contestant on the takeoff, I believe, from a few minutes, and we will be right with you.
Sweat pouring down on the side of the riverbank. Drinking tall boys, catching small mouths, just one of those summer days. Heard something rustling through the trees. Turn around, Lord, what do I see? Blue eyes, blonde hair, Daisy Dukes, and a baby tea. Hot southern lass, I must confess.
Okay, folks, last pilot of the day. Number 25. Mark Medical over there has moved these pilots through very nicely today. We're wrapping it up, changing size, moving to the advanced category. Again, Tyler Sperry is up on deck. Last pilot, wrap it up for the Sportsman Power, flying a Super Decathlon. super decathlon is climbing up to altitude. Takes a little bit longer, which is understandable. Tyler put the Super D through. Still looks very nice. Density altitude has creeped up just a little bit, approaching 3,000 feet now. Winds are calm, skies clear, 80 degrees. And with a little bit of dry air and not much wind, it feels about 83 or 85. But we're wrapping this up and moving on to advance. Again, everybody tuning in at home. Tyler Sperry, flying the American champion super decathlon. Forrest Fox on camera. This is Goody Thomas bringing you the U.S. National Aerobatic Championships 2024, Salina, Kansas. Again, our Sportsman category completes. The last pilot coming up here in the next minute or so. We'll have a little reprieve in the action. Judges will move to the west side of the field, and the advanced category will be commencing. That'll take us on in through the evening. I know those pilots are excited, anticipating this flying. A lot of talented individuals. We got Kyle and Britt and Mike Celebretti, who are already on the advanced team. 5 spots available. 3 pilots I mentioned are already on the team due to their top 10 finish at the past Advanced World Championships in Las Vegas. A big shout out to Kyle, Mike, and Miss Britt. Okay, last pilot of the Sportsman category, right in the sun. They're on base. We'll be diving in shortly. Coming around, and nose is coming down. And here comes wing wags. And here you have it, Tyler Sperry, Super D. Putting it through his paces. Number pilot for today, vertical, off upright, setting up for a 1.5 turn spin, powers off, half, rudder still in, 1.5, rudders out, stick forward, powers coming in, speed's good, into the next figure. Pull vertical, nice vertical line. Come over the top, this is like a pull, pull, pull Humpty. That's exactly what we just saw. Coming back around, going to vertical, all the way around. 45, we're into a wedge, half roll upright. End of figure. Box just approaching the center box position. Back vertical. Positioning looks good. Coming back over the top. Laying out inverted. into figure flying across the box, deciding where they want to pull down next. Vertical down and to horizontal flight. Spacing, energy looks good. Pulling back around. Half loop up into figure. Half loop down into figure. And looks like we're in a beautiful center box dormer loop. Nice job. Moving through the box. Tyler Sperry's nicely in the beautiful suit. Go kick that left rudder, pivots the aircraft around. Air back. Always beautiful. And there's a full aileron roll. Going back to the vertical. Looks like we're maybe coming into one half of Immelman, half roll. And I believe those are our wing wags with completion of the Sportsman category for today at Salina, Kansas. It's been a pleasure and a show. Forrest Fox on video. Goody Thomas signing out for now. I might be back with you for the advanced category. Everybody will be back in about